I had an existing workflow for YouTube videos like this one, where the description was automatically created after I completed my blog post and then ran a cursor command called generate video description. This is the command, and it generates, based on the combination of the blog post and the transcript, provides a description with timestamps of points in the video, so I don't have to do it myself basically. Now I just wanted to change the workflow and decided to try and use the new skills functionality that Anthropic has made. I don't know, was it public? Open. It's an open format now. Not quite open in that it doesn't standardize where the skills go, which is quite annoying. But I decided to see if Cursor can create the skill for me. And so what I did, this is put the Cursor into plan mode and just did a stream of consciousness description of what I'm after. So the stream of consciousness prompt I gave Cursor in plan mode is this. It's pretty long, so let me see if I can. I'm going to use AI to simplify it. So basically what I wanted the skill to do is automatically download the transcript just by pasting in the URL, analyze the content in the transcript, what I basically said, and then interview me to produce a blog post. The idea is just to help me think through things, and if the blog post is about a video I recorded, not the current day, it's a good reminder. And in the end, as a result of the output, produce an outline which I can then use to write the blog post myself. It's like just a prompter and a description I can paste into YouTube. So I did that and used plan mode in Cursor. I thought it would be quite interesting. It did the read agentskills.io, the website. It's this website. It read it and searched through it and asked me where to place it and put together a plan. I like most of the plan, but I was worried about remembering what was in the transcript, and so I asked it to parrot back to me summary of the transcript before it started asking me questions. So it then went ahead and created the skill, did a test through a YouTube video that's just public as a test scenario, bit of interaction, but then in the end it produced the skill, and this is the files it created. So the combination of let's see, the skill definition at the very top is the minimal it reads in for every session to decide whether it needs to load the rest of the skill, and it's a short description of it, and then a description of the skill itself, a supporting description format which will describe how to create descriptions of this form, then a support script which does a fetch of the YouTube URL. So I'm going to try this out on a website and see how it goes. So basically I'm going to get the website URL. So back to the channel content. This one I haven't done anything with yet. So I'll go to that web page. I'll go to that web page. I wanted to try out this, and so this is the URL. I'm going to ask it basically help me produce a blog outline and a YouTube video description for the following URL. And I'm going to paste in the URL. Now I'm going to use Opus 4.5 thinking and see how it goes. Okay, let's see if we can get the transcript. It's running the support script to fetch the transcript. I snorted. There you go, snorted at 40 minute 53. I snorted. That's interesting. Okay, so this is its summary. Yeah, this does remind me of what I did. I did it sort of very off the cuff. First time I was using Ask User Question. Okay, so it's asking me, the first thing is, does it actually capture the video? I think it does. And let it know if it missed anything important. I'm going to just think for a bit to see if I can recall. So yeah, it does accurately capture my recollection of the video. However, I do want to say that it was very much an off-the-cuff thing. I'd never recorded with Claude Code in the Windows app, and I've had never used the Ask Question tool, so it was all a bit new to me. That sort of made it a bit longer and a bit off the cuff, and I wasn't really that comfortable, and I'm not sure of whether to produce a video of it. But anyway, I'm just going ahead and see how it goes. So given that context, start asking me questions. I suppose the main takeaway is that the Ask User Question approach that I think it was Tariq suggested, and the way he suggested the prompt get worded, was very in-depth, and it really did probe me to think through what I wanted in that particular application. It was a useful way of structuring a thinking process and doing it quickly. Actually, I suppose I'm thinking that all these sort of videos, what I'm aiming at is that with all the concern about AI and all that sort of thing, a lot of people are forming opinions without actually experiencing what you can do and how you do it. So I suppose it's also showing people not necessarily AI zealots an example of the use of these systems and how they apply beyond coding. Well, you can easily see that they can be applied beyond coding. It's technical people who just happen to drive by in terms of a post or on LinkedIn, but very much on business and management folks that are curious about practical AI applications and may not get exposed to some details on how to use them. I don't think it really suit people who are skeptical of AI, because I don't think they would even look at it in the first place. It's more about people who are curious but wouldn't use coding agents day to day, but want to expose the concepts and how they could apply beyond coding. What makes my perspective unique or valuable? Well, the reality is it's not unique. I suppose it's valuable because the target audience, probably Australian local businesses and tech audiences, and it's just another touch point for people. Maybe one way of looking at it is you've got like professional YouTubers and that sort of thing that really like almost have a pedal to push in terms of getting people hyped up. So this is like a take that's, I'm interested in this, I value automation, and I think there's something extremely valuable here that almost should be hyped up both more and less than it currently is. I suppose, yeah, that's where I'm coming from. Now, the Git work tree was more just, I'd heard the term, but I never really looked into it properly. I understood it fairly quickly, but it was just my initial response to it. Very useful, but not directly relevant to the purpose of the video. Also, I just note, when I was reading this, it made me smile, is that your response was somewhat sycophantic. I like that framing. A grounded, authentic take that cuts through both hype and the fear. It's sort of funny. Yeah, the depth of questioning did match what I would normally think of, but you tend not to go to that level of detail because of time pressures and the question of value. So it did push me to address the areas earlier than I would have, and it reduced the friction of considering those things, so that I think the value proposition can be made earlier, but covering all of the myriad of questions that need to be answered without as much effort earlier in the piece. I suppose what prompted me, like I was interested in spec-driven development. I forgot the name of it. There's a spec-driven workflow that's on GitHub that was quite involved. I'm trying to remember what it was. Give me a second, I'm going to find out. SpecKit. Yeah, I've used SpecKit before, and I suppose I don't know, the iterative part of it wasn't quite there, and I was a bit confused not familiar with both the plan mode in Cursor and the plan mode in Claude. And then I had a customer that is heavily ISO 9001, 20,000, whatever, 27,000 focused. So I took an approach on starting to spec some functionality at that level of detail, the international standards. And I thought it went well, but the response was not affirmative. It's really difficult managing expectations and understanding what's generated by coding agents and what's hand-coded and what's throwaway and what's not. So I suppose I was trying to find a middle ground between all of those. Is it enough to have like a spec.md generated by ask user questions, and how do you iterate across features? So it was pretty much exploratory, and Tariq's post triggered those sort of questions. Okay. I think in this case I'd prefer a more commentary style, more reflective, because the video's there. It's long, it's boring, but it's there if someone wants to fast forward at high speed through it, at 2x speed, and then pause when they need to. That serves the purpose of people trying to understand what ask user question does, even if you're not a coder. Now, I don't want to emphasize or de-emphasize anything particular. The UI frustrations, to me, were funny. It's the occasional WTFs you get as a developer. Maybe some swearing was in there. I apologise up front, but it was just my immediate reaction. So no specific emphasis or de-emphasis. The two links, Tariq original post in X and the SpecKit repo. The mailbox tool itself was just incidental. I'll probably rework that approach and maybe do another ask user question run. So it's not really relevant to this blog post. Okay, so it's generating what I've asked for, which is a blog post outline. Now, there's a fine line between not being viewed as generating AI slop and being totally authentic. I don't know about totally authentic. It doesn't, you're not using your tools if you're being like, you have to type every character. So I'm not sure how to deal with that. I want it to be in my voice, but I also don't want needless work for the point. There has no point having needless work. So the drudgery, I'll remove the drudgery. The YouTube description, yeah, okay. I wanted actually the YouTube description to have a section. Actually, let's see, that might be the end. It's quite long, actually. That's why I can't see it. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, I'll probably use the YouTube description just as is. Okay, well that sort of sums it up. I'm going to take this post outline and in the coming days use that as inspiration for the actual blog post. It's getting a bit meta, a bit self-referential, because I'm going to probably use this tool for creating a blog post about this video. Very meta and not the Facebook meta.